Hello, everyone, and welcome to Ninja Talks, where I talk about everything that's going on in world wrestling entertainment, storylines, injuries, rivalries, pay-per-views, upcoming pay-per-views, what I think is going on. Before we begin, I just want to say thank you to everybody who has been liking, sharing, subscribing, doing everything that you can with my videos. I mean, I really appreciate it because it really helps me out. It lets me know what you guys like, what you guys don't like, and I've always been a part of this YouTube industry. I mean, I've had different channels with different people, but nothing has ever taken off. And I've wanted to do this for a long time. I've wanted to take off by myself, try to get started. WWE has always been something that's been very close to my heart. Video games have always been close to my heart. Anytime I had anything going on, video games were always my escape. And what I'm looking to do is give you guys that same escape that I want, that I needed. Because, I mean, everybody wants to get on to YouTube, find something to laugh at, something to relate to, and I want to be that. I mean, I've always loved helping people, and that's why I've wanted to go to this outlet. And going from there, I haven't been able to do everything that I've wanted to, video-wise. I mean, I've been streaming straight from my PlayStation 4, and, it's great. All those services are great and everything. But what I really want to do is be able to edit my videos, be able to put in commentary, be able to talk about everything, being able to, let you guys know what I think about everything. And honestly, I haven't really been able to do that the way that I like. So, I mean, eventually I'm going to get there. I have a 16-month-old child. I have a girlfriend. And, it's hard to adjust to the YouTube life because people don't understand exactly how much time and devotion has to go into it, even to get a couple views. And so that's where my problem is trying to balance my life and what I want to do with YouTube. But like I said, thank you guys. I mean, eventually we will get there. Eventually I will get there. And eventually I'm going to have really great content for you guys. I mean, I've always looked up to Chris Dinker. I've always looked up to Delzinski. I've loved what he's done with his universe mode and everything. That's something that I've wanted to do. I've talked about for a long time. And it's something that I eventually will do. I don't know how soon I can start it. I mean, I've always had a lot of great ideas in my mind. I mean, I've worked on scripts going out for a whole year for wrestling. And, I mean, it's something I will end up doing. I just don't know how soon I can start it. But anyways, thank you guys. Today we're going to start off talking about NXT TakeOver Chicago. I was going to start with Raw this week, talk about Raw, just go through the week. But I really wanted to focus on NXT TakeOver Chicago. I wanted to say that it was done really well. The United Kingdom Championship match, that was better than anybody could have expected. Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, they really stole the weekend. I mean, they did better than Backlash did. I mean, everybody was looking forward to the debut of Shinsuke Nakamura at Backlash, but Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne really just solidified wrestling, and not just wrestling for them, but the United Kingdom Championship. They put it on the map. I mean, it was already a big match whenever you have JR come out and do commentary for it. And, I was one of those that was like, JR doing commentary for the United Kingdom Championship match. I mean, I figured he'd be a better match with, say, Bobby Roode and Hideo Itami's match for the NXT title. But he added so much more drama to the match. I mean, Tyler Bate being only 20 years old and doing everything that he's done within WWE is really amazing to look at. And then Pete Dunne is amazing at his role as the heel. Going into the United Kingdom Championship tournament, a lot of the guys, I had no idea who they were. I knew Mustache Mountain from WCPW, but I really didn't know who they were by themselves. The only people I really knew was Joseph Connors and Mark Andrews. And then seeing the United Kingdom Championship tournament, it gave me a whole nother outlook on everybody. The same way the Cruiserweight tournament did. It really makes stars out of them. And coming from somebody who doesn't know a whole lot about the independent scene, I mean, I know about people like Marty Scurll, Will Ospreay, Ricochet. I mean, the big names in independent wrestling. But going and seeing people like Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne and Trent Seven is amazing, because, I mean, I didn't know those guys really existed. And to be able to see their capability, everything that they can do, is amazing for me. I mean, I've stayed in the grounds of WWE whenever it comes to, oh, this guy's my favorite wrestler, or, you know, this guy's really good in the ring. I mean, I talk about the independent wrestlers, like especially Will Ospreay, Ricochet, the stuff that they've been doing, Marty Scurll, their stuff is great. But I really don't tend to talk about the independent scene and give it as much credit as I should. And, you know, everything that Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne have done has really made me appreciate independent wrestling more than I would have. And I can say the same thing about the Cruiserweight tournament. I mean, it gave me a whole nother outlook on people that I really didn't know existed. I mean, Cedric Alexander came from honestly nowhere and put on a great match with Kota Ibushi. And not only that, but to get everybody to chant, please sign Cedric, I mean, is amazing to think about. Cedric hasn't been used as good as he should, but those tournaments really bring out new superstars that people didn't even know anything about. And I think Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate are the biggest examples of that. I mean, that match was simply, you didn't know who was going to win. I mean, I personally expected Tyler Bate to retain the title. I mean, I've seen everything that Pete Dunne can do. I have seen the way he looks at the camera, the way that he acts. He carries himself as an arrogant guy. But, I mean, he really stole that match. And not just him, but Tyler Bate too. I mean, Tyler Bate may not be have the personality that Pete Dunne may have, but I mean, Tyler Bate is a guy that you just want to love. So I give props to Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate for that match. The UK Championship, I mean, that has put the United Kingdom Championship on the match, more so than any match for the Intercontinental or United States title. I mean, that has really proved that, you know, anybody can do it in WWE. I mean, for two guys who really, I don't know how well they were known at the independent scene. Like I said, I really don't know a lot about the independent scene. For them to do everything that they've done, I mean, it gives you the appreciation for the guys who don't have a full-time contract, the people that aren't John Cena, that aren't Randy Orton, that aren't The Undertaker. It gives you the appreciation for them and really proves to you that anybody can put on a main event quality match. Anybody can put on a 5-star match. Anybody can have match of the year. And Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate did exactly that. Switching gears, I wanted to talk about the main event. Well, before that, I wanted to talk about Hideo Itami throwing his tantrum, hitting Cassius Ohno. I mean, while it may have just been a shove and he may have gotten mad, I think that's eventually going to lead to a Hideo Itami heel turn. I think it's great. Hideo Itami he's one of the greatest wrestlers to come out of Japan, and he hasn't had everything go his way in NXT. I mean, he had a short-term tag team with Finn Balor, and then Finn Balor ended up getting called up not too long after, and it just left Hideo Itami with his injuries and everything. It just left him kind of hanging there. I mean, he's seen so many people leave NXT, and he's still stuck there. He hasn't had the momentum and everything that he needs to be able to get called up to the main roster. And it's not saying that his injuries kept him back, because, I mean, look, Austin Aries, even with his injuries, he was able to find a place on the main roster as part of the Cruiserweight division. Hideo Itami is honestly just lacking that extra push that he needs to get to where he really deserves. And he deserves the NXT title. I'm not saying that, it's going to come from Bobby Roode, because Bobby Roode is a heel. Bobby Roode is excellent as a heel. Bobby Roode should stay a heel because he has that cocky, arrogant attitude, but it works for him. And, where Bobby Roode goes after Hideo Itami, I mean, I feel like it would be Drew Galloway, but the problem is Drew Galloway, or Drew McIntyre as WWE went back to calling him, Drew McIntyre, he has so much momentum going his way after leaving the independent scene, after coming back to WWE after all these years, but Drew Galloway has not been established as a main event star for NXT yet, and eventually it will get there. I don't doubt it. I mean, Drew Galloway is exceptional at wrestling. He's really great at everything that he does, but just yet I don't see Drew McIntyre challenging Bobby Roode for the title. I don't know who's going to take Hideo Itami's place. I mean, we've seen Cassius Ohno take his shot and come up short. I mean, I don't know who goes after Bobby Roode after all this. I mean, unless they can establish Roderick Strong. I mean, Roderick Strong really established himself with those promos, and then beating Eric Young, doing something that Ty Dillinger couldn't do during all his takeover matches with Sanity. It gives Roderick Strong the push that he needs, but I don't know if he'll have what it takes to beat Bobby Roode. Switching gears, Asuka retaining the title. I mean, it's good that Asuka retained, keep on her legendary title reign. I just think it's going to lead up to Ember Moon taking the title off of her. I think even if the injury was a work, I think that's exactly where it's going out to. And then last but not least, we're going to talk about the main event, DIY versus the Authors of Pain for the NXT Tag Team titles. That was a really great match. I have been one of the biggest doubters of the Authors of Pain. I have said that they're not great. They don't have a great gimmick going on, but man, have I eaten my words. DIY and the Revival have brought out the best of the Authors of Pain, and honestly, the Authors of Pain have a lot going for themselves. They are a dominant, ruthless tag team. Paul Ellering is really great in his role. The Authors of Pain are guaranteed to be a main roster success, and that's whenever we come to DIY. Honestly, DIY as a tag team, they may have ran into problems, but on a show like Smackdown Live, I think they would have found their place. But, them splitting up and everything, Tommaso Ciampa turning on Johnny Gargano, it was well done, well executed. You can't say that after it showed the graphic that you expected it, because honestly, I didn't. But the way that it was executed, the way that it was done is perfect. And where Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa go from here, I mean, I think they can take NXT back to the level that it used to be with guys like Shinsuke, guys like Balor, guys like Joe, guys like Owens, guys like Zayn. I think that they can take NXT back to that same level, but I hope that they don't waste everything that happened with Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa on calling them up straight to the main roster. I've read that they want them on the main roster, that they were supposed to be originally part of the Cruiserweight division, but instead stay back in NXT. I think Johnny Gargano would be great as a babyface. I mean, the fans love him. Johnny Wrestling honestly gets more chance than Psycho Killer. So Johnny Gargano is a perfect babyface, and he will add a lot to either brand he's on. I have a feeling it will be Raw for the Cruiserweight division, but he adds a lot to any show that he is on, and his in-ring skill is just expectational. Tommaso Ciampa, on the other hand, he's really great in a heel role. Tommaso Ciampa makes you want to hate him. I mean, they've been teasing this breakup for a long time, ever since the Cruiserweight Classic. And their match, I mean, it was, personally for me, it was the best match out of the whole show, the whole tournament. And, seeing what Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa can do, they can really take NXT to that next level. And, it sucks that if it's true that they both are injured, Tommaso Ciampa is injured. I don't know if that's a work. I don't know what it is. I mean, I don't know if they plan on keeping them apart until Brooklyn 3. But, I mean, it's one of those feuds that are guaranteed to get everybody on the edge of their seat. Switching gears, Backlash was great. I feel like Shinsuke Nakamura and Dolph Ziggler didn't live up to expectations. I expected it to be a lot better match. I mean, it was a great match, don't get me wrong. It was a really great match, but I feel like it was lacking in some areas. I know Shinsuke has had better matches. I mean, Shinsuke Nakamura and Sami Zayn, they stole WrestleMania 32 weekend. I was there at WrestleMania 32. I didn't get the chance to go to NXT TakeOver Dallas, but my God, watching their match, they steal the whole WrestleMania weekend. And, as much as everybody was looking forward to Shinsuke Nakamura and Dolph Ziggler, it didn't live up to the heights that it could have. But it does well to put Nakamura in a good main event spot. And eventually, I feel like he will end up being one of the biggest players on SmackDown Live. Right now, that's AJ Styles. It's AJ Styles' home. Everything is about AJ Styles. But eventually, I feel like it will be Nakamura to take over. Only because, AJ Styles is good in both roles. Whether he's a face, whether he's a heel, he'll still get the cheers no matter what. But he's not big a babyface as Shinsuke Nakamura. I mean, everybody sings along to his song. Everybody does everything. Nakamura has that where he's able to go bigger than any babyface right now in the company, including John Cena. I mean, John Cena still gets boos, still gets hate, but Shinsuke Nakamura doesn't get that hate as much as somebody like John Cena. So I think Dolph Ziggler and Shinsuke Nakamura, this is just beginning for Shinsuke Nakamura. I have a feeling he's on a huge rise to the top. From other than that, from Backlash, I mean, there wasn't really anything that big besides Jinder Mahal winning the WWE Championship. I, for one, did not see it coming. I mean, I knew that I don't know how to pronounce their name, but the Singh brothers, I knew that they would play a huge part in the match. I just didn't expect them to actually give the title to Jinder Mahal, especially beating somebody like Randy Orton. Even though it wasn't a clean victory, I mean, it was still a victory over Randy Orton nonetheless. I think that in itself fully proves the point that SmackDown Live is the land of opportunity. It really signifies that. I mean, somebody who came from Raw, who was a jobber, comes to SmackDown Live and wins the WWE Championship. I think it proves that anybody on SmackDown Live can be champion. It's just a matter of creative getting behind you, the fans getting behind you. Where it goes for Jinder Mahal after this, I really don't know. I see him retaining against Orton at Money in the Bank. But where he goes from there, I don't know. I have a feeling I'm not going to say a temporary run, but this is a test. If it works for Jinder, then he can have a long title reign. If it doesn't work, then whoever has the Money in the Bank contract at that time will cash in and end Jinder's reign. They chose the perfect time to do it because, I mean, they can always fall back on the Money in the Bank briefcase if they need to. Switching to the Raw after Backlash, I mean, the biggest thing to come out of that Raw was the Fatal 5-Way match at Extreme Rules between Balor, Joe, Rollins, Reigns, and Wyatt. And I think that match is really going to be one of those matches where you don't see who is going to win. I mean, my pick has to be Finn Balor. They haven't said when the winner will get their match against Brock Lesnar, but it's expected that it'll be a Great Balls of Fire here in Dallas, Texas. I'm going to be there. So personally, since I'm going to be there, I hope I finally get the chance to see Finn Balor. I've never been able to see Finn Balor live in person. So I'm leaning towards Finn Balor getting the win. And before I switch to everything going on in SmackDown Live, I just want to say Alexa Bliss has really came from a girl who didn't know much about wrestling. She really didn't know anything at all about wrestling. She has become one of the biggest name in women's wrestling ever. And, you know, becoming the first SmackDown Live and Raw Women's Champion is a huge honor. I expected the honor to go to Charlotte first, but them giving it to Alexa Bliss really tells you how much they are behind Alexa Bliss. Switching to SmackDown Live, we found out that the participants for the Money in the Bank ladder match. Switching gears to SmackDown Live, we found out the originally 5, now 6 participants for the Money in the Bank ladder match will be Kevin Owens, Braun Strowman, Baron Corbin, Dolph Ziggler, Sami Zayn, Shinsuke Nakamura, and AJ Styles. Personally, out of this match, I find it very interesting. The only person I count out from winning it is Dolph Ziggler. I mean, Dolph is doing great as a heel, but I don't feel like he would ever get back to that point that he once was, that main event scene. So I don't see Dolph Ziggler winning it. Other than that, it's really, for me, I'm not sure who I'm leaning for, because every one of Baron Corbin, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, AJ Styles, and Shinsuke Nakamura, they are all main eventers in their own right. Eventually, each one of them will get the WWE title. But for the Money in the Bank briefcase, I feel as if I'm leaning on Shinsuke Nakamura. Baron Corbin and Sami Zayn are still going to have their feud after Sami Zayn was attacked. I don't know where that leaves his spot at Money in the Bank, but I have a feeling that would end up costing Corbin the match. Even if Sami Zayn doesn't return till Money in the Bank, that would end up being the thing that costs Baron Corbin the match. Kevin Owens, he's great. Kevin Owens has really done a great job with the Universal Championship, with the United States Championship. I feel like he can get back to that point. He doesn't need the Money in the Bank briefcase to do it. AJ Styles being in the match, it's one of those things. It makes you think that AJ Styles is going to win, but AJ Styles is still owed a one-on-one rematch for the WWE Championship. Therefore, I don't see AJ Styles winning the Money in the Bank briefcase because he has that one-on-one rematch. It's one of those things. I know WWE tries to make everybody forget about it, but AJ Styles still has that rematch. And so, I mean, as much as it'd be cool to see him win the Money in the Bank briefcase, I don't think it's going to be him. I mean, AJ Styles is still the main player on SmackDown Live, and he doesn't need the Money in the Bank briefcase to stay in that spot. Somebody who does need the Money in the Bank briefcase for that spot, well, I'm not going to say he really needs it, but it really helps him, is Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke has all the momentum going behind him, and having the Money in the Bank briefcase really helps him out, because with the Money in the Bank briefcase, you don't know when he will cash in. I don't expect it to be very soon if he does win it. I expect them to take a little bit for him to build himself up, but it pretty much guarantees him a title shot at any moment. The rumors are that they're working towards AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura at WrestleMania 34 in New Orleans for the WWE title. I will personally try my best to be in New Orleans, because if that match does happen, that match is bound to blow everything away. I mean, seeing Nakamura and Styles in a tag team match, I mean, them teasing it, and, you know, no matter what, no matter who's face, who's heel, that match, everybody would be split in the middle. Because, I mean, we've seen what they've done in Japan. We've seen everything that they've done separately. And, you know, it's one of those matches just like Nakamura and Bobby Roode. It's one of those matches where, you know, being there whenever Nakamura first lost the title to Bobby Roode at NXT TakeOver San Antonio, a lot of people didn't really know who to go for. Being there, I witnessed a lot of people with saying, chanting for both people. I mean, they really didn't know who they wanted to win. I mean, they were two of the biggest names in NXT at the time, and then Nakamura gets called up to Smackdown Live, and now he has AJ Styles. I mean, AJ Styles did build Smackdown Live up. I mean, without AJ Styles, SmackDown Live would not be as good as it was. And for them to keep AJ Styles on SmackDown Live, I have a feeling it may be to build somebody else up to take over SmackDown Live. If anybody, then Shinsuke Nakamura is the perfect person to do it. And, you know, honestly, if that's where they're leaning towards, then, you know, I'm all for it. Because, I mean, Shinsuke Nakamura, for me, will always be one of the biggest names in WWE. And not just because his accomplishments outside of WWE. I mean, everything that he's been able to accomplish inside WWE. He's had one of the greatest matches in recent memory with Sami Zayn at NXT TakeOver Dallas. And just the aura about him. I think JBL said it best whenever he was saying that they're treating Shinsuke the same way that they did The Undertaker. You don't want to see him every week, but every time you see him, it's a huge thing. And the theme song, Shinsuke Nakamura's theme song, only adds to that. The dance that he does whenever he comes out there, the crowd singing along to his theme song. I mean, it really puts that aura about him that he could be the biggest thing to come out of WWE in a long, long time. Next week, they're doing a Women's Championship number 1 contenders match for SmackDown Live. And, you know, everybody that's a part of the match, you have Carmella, you have Natalya, you have Tamina, you have Charlotte, and you have Becky Lynch. Out of everybody who should go to face on Naomi, I say it should be Natalya. I think they should save Carmella for winning. Supposedly there's supposed to be a women's Money in the Bank ladder match at Money in the Bank. I think if they do go in that direction, I think Carmella should be the one to win that. I think Natalya should be the one to go on to face Naomi. Natalya's got a little momentum behind her. Honestly, I think she's the best option to go with Naomi. It'd be a pretty good match. I don't see Natalya walking out with a title. I think Carmella would be the one. If she wins Money in the Bank, I think she'd be the one to take it off Naomi. But that's where I see that going. Other than that, for SmackDown Live, I mean, you've got the Usos that, honestly, for me, they have not been doing a great job. I mean, their tag team match at Backlash, I think Breezango really took everything to a next level. They really became a tag team that you can really get behind. And, you know, I hope the Usos and Breezango rivalry doesn't end there. But with a New Day close to coming back, and for us seeing them for the first time on SmackDown Live, on Talking Smack, I think the Usos will eventually lose the titles to the New Day. I wish that even if it's a short reign, they gave the titles to Breezango and had them lose to the New Day. But I think either way, everything's leading up to the New Day taking the titles. They're the best options to take the tag team division on SmackDown Live, which has honestly been lacking. in a whole new direction. So guys, I think that's it for this week. I'll see you guys next week whenever I go to talk about Raw and SmackDown Live. Anyways, leave a like, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Let me know if I should keep doing this. I know not a lot of people really recap everything that's going on, give their opinions and everything. So I kind of want to keep doing it, but I mean, honestly, it depends on what you guys think about it. So just let me know. All right, see ya.